Hi. Last summer, I think it was, I got hold of two of these calipers at the flea market for, I think I paid 12 euros for both. One is 650 millimeters long, and the second one is 105 centimeters, or 1050 millimeters. They both has a little bit of rust on them, and instead of mechanically try to remove it, I decided to, and read online that you can put it in water and some citrus acid, and that will remove the rust and not change the size of the material. If I go on with some mechanical removal of rust, the dimension may be going to change, and then of course the calibration of them would change. And the other thing I want to do, this one has been lost over the years, and it had been one of these. So I decided that I'm gonna make a new and make a copy of that one and replace that insect nut. So what I need to do is, since I don't have any container big enough for these, I'm just gonna make a container out of plywood that can fit both of them inside, and just line it with some plastic, and then they're gonna be in this water citric acid solution overnight, and hopefully all the rust gonna go away and I can just polish up the surface on them. At least that is my hope. So I'm gonna get to it to make a quick wooden box that I can just take apart and throw away later on. So that is my first task here. So let's get on with it. I have now cut out the bottom of the box. This material was not long enough, so I'm just gonna put it like this and glue it together. And after that I need to find some scrap material to make the frame around it, so I can have some water in it. So just gonna put this together off camera and come back when I decided how to do the frame. To make the sides of this box to contain the citric acid water, I was going to use some wood. Didn't have long enough boards because this is something that left over from another project. So I was going to put some plywood pieces and simply screw them together. Don't want to use boards that I can use for something else, so this is, instead of going into firewood, I make some use for it. So I'm just gonna put this together and we go from there. So the moment of truth will be fit. Yes, goody. Time to put some plastic on them in the box. This is the same type of plastic I made the polar tent out of, that normally is used inside walls as a moisture barrier. Rather good, thick plastic. So now it's just a question if I should secure it. I believe I should. So let's get the tool for that one. Something like that. Hopefully it will keep watertight. Let's put the calipers in some bath. In the bucket here I have just some hot tap water that make it easier to dissolve the citrus acid. Yeah, of course. And just fill up, I think, gonna drop in a deciliter, 100 grams of citrus acid. Maybe a little bit more. Just find something to stir it with. Just help to dissolve it. And I plan to leave it overnight. I made an experiment because I didn't want to potentially destroy these on some other old tools I bought on flea market, and it turned out good, really good. What it looks like is, if it's very hard and still, I have some tabs for making threading tabs. They turn out marvelously. I just dry them off, rinse them with cold water and dry them off, and then it was perfect. Some other tools still turn a little bit black, but it was easy to take it off just with a rug. And maybe some wire wheels, depending on, because I think they have been black from the beginning. I guess these ones are higher carbon tool steel, and I hope that I only gonna need to rinse them and go over with a rug. And it's already starts to bubble a little bit, and let's see, either leave them overnight or I take them out this evening. But that's watch them and see what's happened. And I'm gonna take a close-up picture for you so you can see how it looks like. So here can you see the calipers. I take them apart. I put some wooden pieces underneath to rise them up, so I also get the liquid underneath. And there are some steel parts. There were some brass parts in the moving parts that's just grabbing, and they I have, and some set screws. I have them over here so I do not lose them. And hopefully this is gonna take me overnight, and I can continue tomorrow to polish them up and get some real nice calipers. And they looks okay. When I move two measuring pieces, let's see, pointing out these ones. When I move them together, I can just see small lights in between. I was a little bit scared that they maybe had bended out over years, but it seems to just be some spots, so I hope there was a little bit rust and I haven't cleaned them up. So in worst of cases, maybe a thin diamond stone, just do one or two slides over to get a nice perfect surface for them to meet up without destroying the calibration, of course. So let's see how this turns out tomorrow. Yeah, as you can see, one part here is going completely black, and the same part there. And on these, I will just guess that is hardened steel or something. But what I noticed on the other part I cleaned, it polished right up, nice and fine. So it shouldn't be any problem. So it's going well. I let it go overnight, and hopefully all rust is gone, and then it's some polish work. I have now polished them up, degreased them. I used normal car polish to get rid of the blackness and get it nice and shiny. After that I degreased them, and I put a little bit layer of camellia oil that I usually use for wood planes and other things to keep rust away. So I have a thin layer of that oil on. Because I noticed when I rinse them in water, I just put them in the sun and they start to rust right away. But now they look nice and shiny. They look vintage for sure, but really nice. So what I'm gonna do, the smaller one, I'm lacking one of the set screw that I'm gonna need to manufacture, but I want to put together the big one and see how it's look like. Here we have it, restored calipers. Really happy about it. There is a small gap out here, so let's see if I can just stone the two surfaces to get it absolutely perfect. Otherwise I'm extremely happy. It's smooth, and yeah, gonna have a lot of use for it. A lot, but big calipers, I always wanted one. Now I have two for a ridiculously small price and some work. Next part is I need to redo or make one more of these, because it was a normal insect screw replacing, because I probably, yeah, this one has got lost over the years. So, but I can make one new of these. It shouldn't be any problem. That's about it. So see you at the lathe. On these calipers that I bought on the flea market, one of these set screw or lock screws was missing and replaced by normal insects screw. Didn't look so nice, so I thought that why not make a new one? It's not a big deal. So I'm gonna lay one out, just copy this the best as I can, and yeah, hopefully I get a nice set screw that looks similar to this one. So let's get going and make a lock screw. The dimension now is 17.8 millimeter, and I want to come down to 14-ish. Would be nice to have a DRO, but that is not the case. See? (15.8) that means I take off 0.4 and done at 15. And let's take off half and more on the radius. Perfect. It should be 5 millimeter. It was 5.6, so I take it off 0.3. There was a little bit of a release on before the curling, so I tried to mimic that. I have now turned it to 5mm, threading it. I have a correct dimension. It's not the correct length, but I mounted it in 6 squared piece. Let's see if I can get it in focus. There somewhere. So I can mount it in the other direction in the lathe and finish up this piece. Last part of this small little work is the knurling. I use this tool that I have 2 knurling tools pressed together. Normally you have just one that you push into the thing you want to knurl. Small machine, put too much force on the different parts, so it's not a good idea. So let's see if we can do this little nice. Turned out nice. Let's see if we can. The 2 lock screws are here. This is the original one, and this is the one I just made. So I believe quite similar. See if we can get the focus on them. Yep. So I'm happy. So now I'm just gonna put this last caliper together. It has a small brass copper thing here that let it slide a little bit easier. In the other one that I put together, it wants to jump out. They have before done it like this. They have knocked it here, so probably expand that a bit, so put it in, knock it in place. You can see maybe here. What I did on the other one, that is, I took a hammer and just smack it a little bit on the side, so I expanded it a bit, so I had to force it down. So I'm gonna do the same thing here, and also for the other part in this thing. I'm not 100% sure if these 2 set screws is just here to tighten it, or it's actually here also to adjust it in that direction a little bit. I'm a little bit uncertain how it's intended to work. No, I knocked it over a tiny little bit too much. Well, that's perfect. It stays in there. Take the original, put it here. Oops, so that's a little bit too much oil. So bit of oil, and in this one there is a hole, and there is a small tap in here. But I don't know why we only have it in this one and not the other. Probably some clever thoughts behind that. Grabbing a little bit. No, tighten. Let's see. Some can feel some burr. Take the finest diamond stone I have. Still grabbing. Two calipers, renovated, a new stop screw made, and this one I had a little bit problem to put together. You can see that in the clip before here, I couldn't get it all the way up, and it turned out that plenty of use over years and nicks on this bar. So I just took a diamond stone and take off the nicks, and now it slides easy. And the other thing that found out was also that a little bit what I was afraid about, but it was not at all as big as I would have imagined. When putting these two together, I thought that that maybe had been bended out over years or misused, but that was not the case. But there was a little bit of light coming through, and it was just the same thing as for this one. Small nicks, so I took the finest diamond stone, polish up these two surfaces. I did the same with the other one, and now when I put them together, there's almost no lights in between. Little bit depending how hard I push. So I'm really happy. This is gradated in 0.05 millimeters tolerances, and it's, let's see, it's 605 millimeters long. This one is a bit bigger. I feel that this one has a little bit higher precision than the other one, if that's possible. I didn't have a problem here, so it hasn't been misused in the same way. I polish up these surfaces a little bit, so now it's no lights whatsoever in between, so they tight as nothing else, and the same tolerances, and this is 105 centimeters, so 1050 millimeters long. really happy about it. I always wanted to have long calipers. A little bit overkill, but for the price and 2 hours work, and they would serve me well for whatever type of work I want to do. So thanks for watching, and I hope you see my next video of something. See you!